Hello and welcome. This is Jeffrey Rodriguez with Social Security Administration. I'm your public affairs specialist here in Orange County in the Southern California area. And we are here to continue taking a look at the Social Security information and just some great information that I have to share with you all. And I thank you for your time and tuning in today to allow me to share that with you. So let's go ahead and jump in, have kind of a full plate of information. So I want to make sure I get to it. And before I get to some of the other information, there's a few things I always share with everybody. And it's just, I feel it's the best way. There's so many different things going on around us right now, and difficulties of connecting with different organizations or groups or businesses, and some of those challenges. And so the one thing that I always kind of remind everybody is, if you're having trouble taking a look at and trying to find some of your own information, then I would strongly suggest using and setting up a My Social Security account. If you go in and you set up the My Social Security account, what it's going to do is give you access so that you can see your information. And that'd be taking a look at really your record information. We used to send out these statements that you see there on the right with the green print, and we all remember those coming about usually about a month or so right before our birthday. So we knew it was coming up. It was try to beat everybody and give you a birthday wish. And since we know everybody is going in the direction of getting older, we know that eventually you're going to hit your Social Security age. And so it was that information that everybody always looked forward to see, what is it that I'm going to be eligible to? And so that same information that we no longer send out, we've stopped mailing out unless the individual is age 60 through full retirement age. We stop mailing that completely. And so what we have in place is the My Social Security account, which prior to benefits really gives you access to that same information. How much am I eligible to? What are my earnings throughout my historical or my earnings record, so that I can make sure that you have all of my information correctly, which is really what that information is for. And then as we take a look at the different things you can do even post entitlement after you start receiving your benefits, it's a place where you can go on to print out proof of your benefits, to reorder a Medicare card if you need to do so, or even reorder a Social Security card for some reason if you've misplaced yours and that's needed. Many other things you can do post entitlement, and that number is growing. Things that you can change, your address, your direct deposit, different things of that nature. And so it becomes really your portal to managing, if you will, your information and your benefits. So please, if you have not, I would strongly suggest go online, set up that My Social Security account so that you have access to that information. Once you've done so, you'll find that there's also estimators, calculators, different things that you can utilize for your benefit. Now, those things, as far as information, one of the areas that I strongly suggest as people go online and take a look at our information, the different tiles that are set up for, retirement, disability, different things of that, depending on what programs people are trying to connect and get information for or take action. The FAQ is a great way to do it. So all of this information at your fingertips, and one of those is we've updated our retirement page. And so if you click on the retirement tile, and it'll take you to this page, which I love the format. I love what we have done with this. And so it gives you really that quick view and some quick links to different areas to take you right to what you're trying to do. Are you trying to just get some knowledge? Are you learning? Are you trying to figure out how retirement benefits work? What are those things that you need to be prepared for so that you can plan ahead of time? One of the questions that always comes up, when should I start receiving my benefits? Well, it's such a personal situation for each individual. I always will lean back and tell people, you need to determine what are all the factors involved and what's important to you, and then you can make that decision. And so there's information accordingly. Then once you're ready to apply and you've marked that date, you say, okay, I'm ready to apply, then that section here on the retirement page allows you to do so. You can go straight to the application, or before you apply, just a few questions, things to make sure you have everything set in hand. And then once you apply, being able to go back in and take a look. Is it processed? Where's the status using your My Social Security account? And then lastly, obviously, they're managing. Once you are receiving benefits, what are those things that you need to know? What are the changes? What are the things coming up? What's at your disposal as far as how to manage? What things should you be managing? And so through all of that, when you look at these different sections, you'll find that information. And so I strongly encourage everybody, go back and check out this information. And we first re-engineered this whole retirement benefit, and I actually had the benefit of being part of the national work group in looking at retirement benefits and on this page, and what would be good, and what format could we present it to where it just makes it easier and more accessible to everybody. And so I proudly say that, I love what we have come up with here. And there's the other benefits that we administrate, the disability and Medicare. All of these are also going to follow suit. You're going to see this engineering and restructuring of those pages. And so I would strongly encourage you, go back and check and see, where we're at with some of those other benefits. But retirement, you can see here, it'll take you right to where you need to go. And that's the beauty of this new design. And on the top of as you'll see, no matter what page on Social Security you go to, you're going to see on the top the whole COVID-19. You're going to see those updates. It'll take you to a special page that gives coronavirus information, updates, things that you need to be aware of. And so I would, encourage you to use that accordingly as well during this time. As most of you know, our offices are not open to, or we're not able to have people come in-person service. But what we are is all of our offices are open over the phone, meaning you can call into any of our local offices. And so if you use our website, if you go in, you scroll to the very bottom, there's a radial or a square that says contact us. If you depress that square, it'll take you to another section with different information, ask you kind of like, how are you trying to contact us? And if you're trying to contact us by phone, all you have to do is put in your zip code, and that zip code will then give you the local office information. And once you bring up that office locator information, it'll list the direct local number. And I would strongly encourage you, if you have things that you need to do that you normally would have walked into an office and you're no longer able to do that because we don't have that in-person service available, then call that local office. Don't use the 1-800 number. I would suggest, after you've looked online and you can't, perform those functions, or you're not able to get the information you need, take the action that you're trying to take online, then call our local office and have that representative help you. And so that would be the best way to kind of manage all of that together. So as we go through, there's a new feature, and I love this, what you're able to do here. Because one of the things that, as I deal with the retirement community, when I deal with our aged community, there's the 60 or 65 or 62, depending what numbers you use there statistically. But when we're talking to our seniors, one of the things that we know eventually is each senior individual is going to need that help from family, is going to need the help from people around them. I'll take, for example, right now, my mother is She's able to do everything pretty much on her own. She lives with my brother. At age 89, she's, still has, full, mental capacity, very sharp. And, every day I give her a call. And I can gauge by the conversation, and she's doing great. Thank God she's well mentally. Physically, she has some ailments, but she's still able to move around. But there's going to be a time where she's not going to be able to do maybe the things that she would like to. Right now, if I gave her the number to her local Social Security office, she could call and converse with that person, take care of whatever she needs to on her record. She's not maybe as literate when it comes to the computer side of things. And so she's not going to have the comfort of maybe the skill set to go online and take care of maybe the business she would need to have, whether it's changing something or updating or requesting something. So she would have to call in, and she could do so now. But what happens when she's no longer able to? And if an individual kind of waits too long to determine how are they going to, resolve those, who's going to step into that place, it may be almost too late, and makes it more difficult. Not that it's impossible, but it makes it much more difficult. And so this new feature that Social Security is offering is, as we call it, this advanced designation. And the whole idea behind this program is we want people to be able to have that conversation and be able to say, hey, if something occurs and I'm no longer able to, don't have the capacity, whether mentally or physically, to be able to take care of my Social Security and manage my Social Security business, then I have already designated, these individuals as someone who could help me do so. Whether it's applying for benefits, whether it's, managing the claim or changing something on the record that needs to be updated, then this advanced designation, what it does is says, here's the names of these people, and it allows the individual to put them in a priority order. To say, number one, I want you to reach out to this person. My son will do this. Or secondly, my daughter-in-law. And thirdly, my neighbor who's been a close friend and a family friend. And maybe they rank them in that order. And so that if something happens, then if there is need for what we call a representative payee, and that would be the individual that is given the approval to go in and to manage the business, that individual would receive the benefit for the individual, make sure that the individual is that monies in that fund is going towards their needs, would be able to manage in any other way, change or update information. Otherwise, it has to be the number holder. It has to be the individual that does it. And if they're not able to, well, then this could prolong certain things. It could, instead of maybe something that we could get fixed within one phone call or something of that nature, now it's going to take months to establish and to set up someone as a representative payee. So this new feature within the My Social Security account, if you set that up, you can identify these persons, and rank them in order on who you would like to have serve as your representative payee. So I strongly encourage, this is such a great feature. And although I today I'm talking in respect to seniors and like my mother as an example, but in reality everybody should have this, because we never know what's going to happen. And unfortunately there are those things that will occur in life, and maybe a disability comes out of nowhere, and the person renders them unable to manage their Social Security business. But if they had set up the My Social Security account and listed these advanced, had completed the advanced designation, then we know exactly who they desire. They go in and we could set that person up, and it really bypasses a lot of the waiting period, the time restraints that to be able to allow that individual to take over and help you with your Social Security business or manage that business for you. So I would, if you have that account and have not gone in to do so, I would strongly encourage you to set that up. A great benefit. Now we're also, as we move into the month of July, we all, every American looks forward to the 4th of July as we celebrate our nation's independence. And I think as, the culture of the day, we continue to explore the need for even further independence, if you will, the understanding of what that really meant. And so, I'm proud to say that I'm an American. Our the country that we live in, and those things that we just have available to us. And for over 85 years, Social Security has provided these various benefits to families. There are so many testimonies, so many stories that I have heard over the 10 years serving as a Social Security representative, that as individual come, oh, well, when I was younger, I had a parent who had passed away, and I remember our family receiving, the survivor benefits for the siblings and for the children, and others who may come in and say, well, in the course of life, I had a disability, I was able to get better and move on and go back to work, but for 10 years, 15 years, or for the last 20 years, I've been on disability, but it's helped take care of my family when my children were young. And so all these different benefits that provide this independence of being able to continue and still have that benefit come into them. And so as we look at it, I just want to remind everybody, there's so many different, because a lot of times we talk about retirement on this show, and we look at it, and that is one, retirement or spouse benefits, as early as age 62, that one could receive Social Security benefits, whether on their own record or on a spouse's record, depending on the scenario. But there's also disability, as I just kind of mentioned, which is someone who has contributed and paid currently into Social Security benefits. Paying that Social Security tax enables them, if they come across a disability. It's not just an injury on the job. That's state disability, which may cover, for that 1 year period. We're talking a ongoing benefit for an individual that has paid into Social Security because they've worked and paid in. If they become unable to work due to that disability, then from that point forward, it's really considered a lifetime benefit. And for some it is, others may get better or be able to work through a disability, but at least they have that disability insurance and benefit paid to them. Or maybe it's extra help with the Medicare prescription drug cost. And for those that maybe have a challenge with low income and low resources, may qualify for that. Or just Medicare in general. Medicare is such a great program for many. And so as they hit, the majority of people, it's at age 65 is that initial point. Some, because of a disability, will get it after 2 years of disability, but mainly everybody is, that's the starting age 65 for Medicare, as well as SSI, supplemental security income. For, again, it's a program that we administrate at Social Security for people with low income and low resources. And the access to that is one of two ways: either a disability, or including blindness, or age 65. And again, those with low income and low resources. So just, there's many different benefits and programs that Social Security administrates, and most aren't aware of that. They just kind of think of Social Security, or maybe think of Medicare only. And so as we celebrate the independence of our country, we also, are pleased to see what we've been able to develop under this program that creates independence for many financially that fall within those guidelines. So, I mentioned Medicare, and I want to go through and kind of briefly talk on Medicare. This is a such an important benefit that one has to will hopefully file timely. Age 65 is that starting point. um, and if someone misses the correct, what we call initial enrollment period at age 65, they're going to miss everything. And you have to, file for that benefit timely. If it's you're coming up on age 65, it's 3 months before age 65. And although we give a grace period of 3 months after age 65, if you don't file prior to age 65, then that means your Medicare effective date would be later. It wouldn't start right on the month you hit age 65. But if you file, then you're protected. And so filing online for Medicare is such a great tool at your disposal to be able to go on, 2 months before your age 65. You go online, it's very quick, it's very easy, and you're able to file and make sure that that's there. And again, it protects you so that even if there's some complications or some proofs that you have to provide, or the person is unable to, go through completely, and there's still some things they have to provide, you still go back to that protected filing date. So if you did this 2 months earlier and you get into the month where you're turning 65 and we're barely at that point have everything we need and we're finalizing it, we still know that, hey, you came in 2 months ago, so it's going to be effective that month that you hit age 65. And so you want to take advantage of this. And not only that, if you've already filed for Part A, one of the new online products for Medicare is that if you already have Part A and you've been working and you have coverage through an employer, and now you're going to terminate that employment and you're ready to start your Medicare, then you can do so and file online. Um, and you don't have to worry. At that point, it's protected. The forms that will be required, they'll let you know. The one form is, hey, yes, I want to start my benefits. The other from the employer showing you had the coverage, or through a spouse's employer, if that's where you had the medical coverage from. And then you're well into your way of Medicare. So, I would say take advantage of that online process that you're able to do. The other, important message today that um, I definitely want to share with everybody and just make sure that you're aware of is there are so many scams out there. The coronavirus related Medicare scam is one of them. When there's beneficiaries that are receiving these calls and they're asking, oh, we have to verify your Medicare numbers. We have to verify this or that. And people are offering up their private information, their personal information, over the phone to an individual that they haven't even identified really or know where they're calling from. And so Social Security realized that Social Security does not call you and start demanding information. We have the information there. If we're calling you, we're going to alert you. If you are calling us, then yes, we will ask you questions. But that's why it's important to go online to our office locator, make sure you're calling the correct office number. And then once you do, you will have to provide some personal information to identify you. But when you get a call, that's different. When someone's calling you and stating they're from Social Security, they're stating from a federal agency, and we need this information, and they start kind of pushing and they get really agitated, and you need to give it now or we're going to cut all your benefits. Just hang up on them. Report it to the Office Inspector General, report any type of fraud. But if you have, if you, call your local office, if you feel that maybe Social Security was trying to get a hold of you, that I wouldn't accept it through the call. You call. Don't let them give you the number. Look up the number on the office locator. There's just too much fraud, whether it's through Social Security or even Medicare. Go on to medicare.gov and look up and read their information on the different frauds that are scams that are occurring at this time. And just be careful, guard yourself. Always share that you got this call, that someone was reaching out trying to ask for information from you. Share it with one of your family members so that they can remind you, no, this doesn't sound right, and take those steps. Call your local office, verify what you need to. Don't give off information, your Social Security number, bank information. Don't send money. Don't send gift card numbers, nothing of that nature over the phone. That's not what Social Security or any other federal agency will ever ask you to pay with gift cards or anything like that. So please, please guard yourself. These people are very good at what they do, and they can confuse you and create havoc. So please be aware of that. As we start to come to a close, I just want to remind you, if you have any questions, you need to get a hold of me, and you're having trouble finding some information, please email me, jeffrey.rodriguez@ssa.gov. Very easy to email me, or if you prefer, you want to write a letter and ask me some things. In that letter, do not provide any personal identifiable information. Don't give me your Social Security number. If you're just asking a general question, you want me to maybe touch on it in one of the future programs, I can do so. Other than that, email me. Again, don't give me any personal information. If we need to, we'll set up a time to talk, and I'll request your phone number, and we'll do that. But you do have that access, whether you're mailing that information to the local office in Santa Ana. Management there will get that letter to me, or you can email me directly, and I make myself available to you. So as we come to a close, thank you once again for being on with me today. And I hope that this information has been of use to you. That again, anything that you need to know, let me know. Send it to me, write to me, let me know, so that I can go on and touch on that. So have a wonderful rest of the day and throughout this month. And as always, God bless America, but especially Laguna Woods Village.